The day Alex Chen and I were scheduled to get our marriage license, I had taken the entire day off work. When I got to the civil affairs office, I tried calling him, but after 10 attempts with no answer, my patience was wearing thin. On the last try, a woman's voice answered, "Sarah Miller, this is Chloe Davis. Alex is helping me check into the hospital. What did you need?" My mind went blank for a second. Chloe. I sneered to myself. "So, you've got some real nerve, Alex. This was the woman you were ditching me for to be with her during her surgery." "Yes," the voice on the phone continued, a sickly sweet tone that made my stomach turn. "Sorry, Sarah. Alex had to postpone your marriage registration because of me." I scoffed. "It's fine, we've already broken up. He's all yours now," I added, "and tell him that even trash starts to smell good when it belongs to someone else." "Sarah, you?" I couldn't stand to hear her fake, nauseating voice for another second, so I hung up. I sent a quick text to Alex. "We're done. The wedding is off. Let's break up." He replied almost instantly, "Sarah, can't you just be reasonable? Chloe really needs this surgery. We'll talk about the marriage certificate when I get back." Go to hell, I thought, my fingers clenching around my phone. I put it away and turned to leave, but as I did, I ran right into Ethan, one of Alex's close friends. Their friendship had always been a bit hot and cold, and I never really understood the dynamic between them. "Ethan, what are you doing here?" I asked. "Getting married," he said simply. I remembered he had a girlfriend, though their relationship always seemed a bit lukewarm. A strange look flickered in Ethan's eyes. "Did he stand you up again?" he asked in a low voice. I just shrugged. "It doesn't matter, we've broken up." Ethan's expression shifted slightly. "In that case, Sarah," he said, his voice serious, "why don't we get married? We know each other, and I don't have anyone else. If we get married, you'll be the only lady of the Jones family." I was completely taken aback. I never would have expected Ethan to say something like that, but he was, without a doubt, more stable and reliable than Alex, and his family background was just as good. Thinking about Alex's dismissive attitude just a few moments ago, a small, bitter smile touched my lips. "All right," I said. Ethan seemed surprised by how quickly I agreed. His eyes were filled with a flicker of disbelief. "You agreed?" "Yeah," I confirmed. "Ethan, you're one of the few people who has always been kind to me besides Alex, and honestly, you're better looking than he is." I guess I was just so focused on him that I never noticed before. Looking back, I must have been blind. Hearing my words, the look in Ethan's eyes slowly changed, warming with an emotion I couldn't quite place. He took my hand gently and led me back into the civil affairs office. Half an hour later, holding the red marriage certificate, I felt a wave of disbelief wash over me. Was I really married? To my ex-boyfriend's best friend? "Sarah," Ethan said, his voice earnest as he looked at me, "I don't have any bad habits, and I won't ever be with another woman now that I have you." I looked into his sincere eyes, and a strange feeling, a flicker of a memory, passed through my mind. "Ethan, I believe you." I had always felt that out of all of Alex's friends, Ethan was the most dependable. I didn't know why, but the feeling was incredibly strong in that moment. Ethan took the certificate from my hand with a smile. "I'll keep this for you. Sarah, I'll give you 3 days to get your things in order. After that, I'll come pick you up, and you'll move in with me. Okay?" I almost told him that 3 days weren't necessary. I had never lived with Alex anyway. I had my own place. Back at my small apartment, I started to purge everything that reminded me of Alex. I threw out all the gifts, big and small, that he had ever given me. Finally, I sat on my bed, phone in hand, and smiled bitterly as I deleted every photo, every message, every trace of our life together, before blocking his number completely. Then, I listed the apartment for sale online, ready to get rid of it immediately. I packed my own belongings and threw out anything I didn't want or need anymore. After a long shower, I lay in bed, thinking back to when Alex and I first met. It all felt so ridiculous now. We had known each other for 5 years. My brother Liam had once dated his sister, Olivia. One day, my brother took me out to eat, and we ran into Olivia. My brother introduced us, and Olivia took an immediate liking to me. She treated me like a little sister, always bringing me gifts and fun things from her work trips. The next year, she introduced me to Alex. "Alex," she had said, "from now on, Sarah is my future sister-in-law. You treat her well. If I find out you've bullied her, I won't let you get away with it." "Got it, sis," Alex had replied with a grin. "Don't worry, the only one doing any bullying around here will be her." And just like that, Alex and I became a couple. I remember my brother telling me at the time, "Sarah, don't fall too hard for him. He still needs to be vetted." I thought my brother was just being overprotective. He was Olivia's younger brother. What could possibly go wrong? Still, my brother wasn't convinced, so he bought me an apartment and forbid me from moving in with Alex. It was his biggest compromise, and I knew he meant well, so I agreed. Alex had been a bit against it. "Sarah," he'd said, "if you really like me, you should respect my decision. A girl is always precious, and some people stop cherishing things once they have them." "I wouldn't, Sarah," he'd insisted. "I'm very loyal." Because of that one sentence, I believed him for 5 years. Until last month, when Olivia asked Alex and me to get our marriage certificate, that's when a strange text message arrived on my phone. "You must be Sarah, right? You and Alex have been together for 5 years without getting married. Want to know why?" Frowning, I replied, "Who are you?" "If you want to know, meet me at the Chloe Cafe." I wasn't planning on going, but my curiosity got the better of me. I wanted to know who this person was and what they had to do with Alex. The next morning, I got ready, put on some light makeup and a purple dress, and drove to the cafe. When I arrived, I looked around, about to send a message, when a woman waved at me. She was wearing a white dress, very beautiful in a petite, delicate way that made you want to protect her. I walked over and sat down across from her. She smiled and gestured for the waiter to place a latte in front of me. "Sarah, hello, I'm Chloe," she said. "I asked you to meet me today just to confirm one thing." Hearing the name Chloe, my heart skipped a beat. Chloe. In that moment, I understood everything. Alex had a name that was taboo in his heart, a name no one was allowed to mention. Chloe was his first love. Countless times when he was drunk, her name was the only thing he would say. I took a deep breath to compose myself. "You want to get back with Alex?" She seemed surprised by how direct I was. "You know me?" "I've been fortunate enough to hear about you," I said coolly. "Alex mentioned you, didn't he?" "I knew he hadn't forgotten me," Chloe said with a confident smile. "What do you want to say, Sarah? He doesn't love you. He's just using you as my replacement. Now that I'm back, it's time for you to step aside." "Don't you think it's ridiculous?" I shot back. "You left him without a second thought back then, and now you're coming back with all this confidence. It makes me think you have some other reason for getting close to him." "Sarah, no matter what you say, he loves me." I stood up. "Then let him come and tell me that himself." We slept together. Her words hit me like a physical blow. Without saying another word to Chloe, I turned and left. As I paused at the entrance, I looked up at the sign that read Chloe Cafe and felt nothing but a deep, biting irony. That day, I had a huge fight with Alex. "Do you realize we're getting married next month?" I had yelled. Alex looked confused. "I know. What's wrong?" "What's going on with Chloe?" His expression changed instantly. "You went to see her?" At that moment, all my illusions about him shattered. "So, you're back together with her?" I asked coldly. "She's alone with no one to take care of her. We're friends. What's wrong with helping her out?" he said, as if it was the most obvious thing in the world. "Friends? Can friends sleep together, Alex?" "What nonsense are you talking about? There's nothing going on between me and her." "You think I'd believe that? Tell me, why did you agree to your sister's suggestion to be with me in the first place?" "Because I like you. What other reason could there be? I really didn't get back with her. I promised to marry you, and I will." That day he comforted me for a long time, whispering so many sweet things in my ear that I eventually gave in and believed him. I believed him because I truly loved him. But on the very day we were supposed to make it official, he was with her. On such an important day, he wasn't there for me. Lying on my bed, I called my brother. It took him a while to answer. "Sarah, what's wrong?" His voice sounded a little out of breath. "Did I interrupt something?" I hesitated, then decided to just tell him the truth. "Bro, I broke up with Alex." I could hear someone talking in the background, but I couldn't make out the words. "Bro, are you listening?" After a long pause, a low voice came through the phone. "Why?" I wanted to tell him about Ethan, but I stopped myself. "Is Olivia with you?" "Yes," my brother admitted. "Then I'll come see you tomorrow and explain everything." "All right, I'll have the driver pick you up. Remember, you're a Miller. No one gets to bully you. After hanging up, I sent a message to Ethan. I'm telling my brother tomorrow. If he contacts you, just say I forced you into everything. He replied quickly, Silly girl. How can I let a woman take the blame for this? Since you're my wife now, I should be the one to bear it. Reading his words, I felt my cheeks flush slightly. Let's talk about it tomorrow. Good night. Good night, wifey. I slept soundly and woke up at 8:00. I had already asked my brother to let Olivia know I wouldn't be at work, since I worked at her design company. By the time I was ready, it was already past 8:30. The driver was waiting downstairs. Miss, the young master asked me to take you for breakfast. I nodded and was about to get into the back seat when someone grabbed my arm. My expression darkened. Before I could say anything, I heard an exasperated voice behind me. Sarah, you actually blocked me. It was Alex. I didn't want to deal with him, but his grip was tight and it was starting to hurt my wrist. Let go, I said, my voice turning icy. He actually let go, his voice low and frustrated. Why did you block me? I turned to face him, my eyes completely void of the love they once held for him. Alex, is this really necessary? Sarah, you wanted to get married. I said we could just wait until I get back. Chloe was alone for her surgery, with no one to sign for her. Couldn't you just be a little more understanding? I was understanding, I said calmly. I didn't cry, I didn't make a scene, so don't worry, I won't disturb your life with her ever again. Alex's face darkened. If you want to get the marriage certificate, we can go today. I glanced at the woman standing behind him and sneered. Bring her along? Are you two getting the certificate? Or am I? Chloe had a tear sliding down her cheek as she said softly, I'm sorry, Sarah. It's my fault for delaying your and Alex's important day. I looked at her with pure sarcasm. If I stabbed you with a knife and then said sorry, would that make it okay? Sarah. What? Feeling sorry now? Alex, you make me sick. I turned to leave, but he grabbed my arm again, refusing to let go. I stomped hard on his foot. Bastard! Let go of me, you're hurting me. Alex's face was grim. Sarah, what do you mean? Explain yourself. I was about to speak when a black Maybach pulled up right in front of us. Ethan stepped out of the driver's seat. Noticing my pained expression, he said sternly, You're hurting her. Alex was surprised to see him. Ethan, what are you doing here? Of course he's here to pick me up, I said, my voice sharp with anger. Alex's expression turned terrifyingly dark. Sarah, say that again. Seeing the situation escalate, Ethan stepped forward and grabbed Alex's arm, forcing him to release me. Ethan immediately pulled me behind him. At that moment, Alex seemed to realize something, his gaze becoming sharp and accusatory. Ethan, you're my brother. You should know Sarah is my woman. Ethan's usual gentle demeanor was gone, replaced by a cold hardness. If I hadn't been recovering from my injuries all this time, you wouldn't have even had a chance. What do you mean? Even I was frozen in place, completely stunned by what Ethan had just said. 5 years ago, Ethan continued, when I first met her, she saved me. She took me to the hospital. I swore to myself that if I survived, I would marry her. Alex's expression faltered. Are you saying the girl you mentioned before is Sarah? Exactly. But after I recovered and we met again, she was already your girlfriend. Seeing how happy she looked, I had no choice but to keep my feelings to myself. The images in my mind suddenly clicked into place. So, it was him. No wonder his eyes had always looked so familiar. It was him. But Sarah is my woman now, do you understand? Alex insisted. Ethan sneered. Outside the Civil Affairs Bureau, you made her wait for hours. Where were you? Alex knew he was in the wrong. I admit I wronged Sarah this time, but you shouldn't have taken advantage of the situation. I stepped out from behind Ethan and spoke calmly to Alex. He didn't take advantage. I asked for it. Alex, you should be happy. I won't stand in the way of you and your first love anymore. A flicker of amusement crossed Ethan's eyes as he pulled me back behind him, his gaze darkening as he faced Alex. We were brothers once. Don't make this ugly. You wronged her, not the other way around. Ethan, are you really going to disregard our brotherhood? Sorry, but she's my wife now. Between a brother and a wife, I choose my wife. As soon as the words left his mouth, Alex threw a punch, but Ethan dodged it easily. Ethan, who the hell is your wife? Say that again and see what happens. I was about to step in and break it up, but Ethan threw the first punch fast, precise and brutal, landing squarely on Alex's face, making Chloe gasp. Alex! Alex was furious, and the two of them immediately started brawling, their punches sharp and fierce, each strike fueled by years of unspoken tension. The air around them seemed to freeze, the only sounds being their heavy breathing and the dull thud of fists connecting. I stood by anxiously, wanting to intervene but not knowing how. Chloe was so frightened, her face turned pale, her hands twisting the hem of her dress. "Stop it!" I finally shouted, my voice trembling. They both paused for a moment at the sound of my voice, but then they were at it again. Ethan's gaze was cold, and Alex's was filled with rage. "Stop this!" I yelled, stepping forward to try and pull them apart, but Ethan yanked me back behind him. "Sarah," he said, his back to me, his voice low and firm. "This is between him and me. Stay out of it." Alex took advantage of Ethan's distraction and landed a punch to his stomach. Ethan staggered slightly. I caught him and shouted sharply, "Enough!" Chloe finally rushed forward in tears, pulling at Alex. "Alex, stop hitting him! Just stop!" Alex seemed not to hear her, his eyes fixed only on Ethan, his once close brother, now his rival. "Alex, I'm saying this for the last time. We're over," I said, my voice ringing with finality. "See this? This is my marriage certificate. I married Ethan. He's my husband now. Understand?" I pulled the red certificate from my bag and held it up for him to see. Alex stared at it, his teeth gritted. "Sarah, why?" "Chloe came to me," I said coldly. "She said she slept with you. I didn't believe it. She said the gifts you gave me were the same as the ones you gave her. I didn't believe that either. But when she said I was just her replacement, I started to have doubts. Alex, I hired someone to follow you. You went to a hotel with her." At that moment, I believed everything she said. That day at the Civil Affairs office was my last chance for myself and for you, but you gave up on me. Alex's face went pale as he looked at Chloe, who could only whisper weakly, "Alex, no, it's not like that. Let me explain." I helped Ethan into the car and told the driver to leave before getting in myself. "Alex," I said, looking at him one last time, "let's end it here. You don't love me, so please don't disturb my life anymore." After I got in, Ethan stepped on the gas and drove away. "Sarah, Ethan started, seeming to have something to say. I looked at his profile and whispered, "Why didn't you tell me before?" Ethan's grip on the steering wheel tightened. "I originally thought your happiness would be enough, but he kept disappointing you every single time." "So you secretly followed me to the Civil Affairs office that day? Because you knew he wouldn't show up?" He answered cautiously, "Yes." I leaned back in the passenger seat and closed my eyes. The memory of saving him that night flashed through my mind. Ethan had been severely beaten. Coincidentally, I was craving a late-night snack and had gone out to buy food when I stumbled upon him, injured and unconscious. I couldn't move him by myself, so I had to call an ambulance. At the hospital, I paid for his surgery. The next day, when he opened his eyes, the first thing he said to me was, "Thank you. When I recover, I'll marry you." I thought he was just joking at the time. Later, when we met again, I didn't even recognize him. I only knew him as Alex's friend, and I was Alex's girlfriend. When I opened my eyes again, I had regained my composure. I looked up at him. "Ethan, did you marry me just to repay a favor?" To my surprise, he slammed on the brakes, pulling the car over to the side of the road. He turned toward me, slowly leaning in until his breath was warm on my face. Then, he lowered his head and kissed me. I widened my eyes, trying to push him away, but he held my hands firmly. After a long moment, he finally let go, looked into my eyes, and said seriously, "Do you understand now? It's not about repaying a favor. It's about love. I love you, Sarah." My face felt hot, and I knew it must be bright red. "Let's go," I urged, afraid I'd become even more embarrassed if we stayed there any longer. "I need to visit my brother. Come with me to meet him." He smiled and said nothing more, simply starting the car and continuing to drive. Half an hour later, we arrived at my brother's apartment building. Originally, Ethan didn't plan to go up, but I pulled him along. "What are you afraid of?" I said. "You're completely legitimate now." He just smiled, a smile that made my heart skip a beat. This guy was really quite handsome. When we got upstairs, I rang the doorbell. Olivia opened the door, her face lighting up when she saw me. "Sarah! "Oh, Ethan, what brings you here?" Seeing Ethan by my side, Olivia was still surprised, but when she noticed our hands clasped together, her expression suddenly changed. At that moment, my brother also came out, his hair slightly damp from a recent shower. "Come in and talk," he said calmly. When we reached the living room, my brother had prepared my favorite snacks and pumpkin porridge for me. Seeing Ethan, his expression remained unchanged as he said, "Let's eat together." After we all sat down, my brother didn't say or ask anything, just encouraged me to eat more. I felt a bit uneasy. "Brother, don't talk while you're eating." After breakfast, my brother called me into his study. "Speak, what's going on?" Seeing my brother, I still felt wronged, and the more I thought about it, the more the tears started to fall. My brother panicked, grabbing tissues to clumsily wipe my tears. "Why are you crying? Who bullied you? Tell me and I'll beat them up for you." I threw myself into his arms, and he gently patted my back, comforting me. "Silly girl, if it's over, it's over. At worst, I'll find you someone better." I cried for a long time before pulling away, wiping my tears. "Alex lied to me." I sobbed. "He's with another woman. He stood me up at the civil affairs office that day, and today he brought that woman to see me." My brother's expression darkened, his voice turning icy. "He's seeing someone else?" I nodded and continued, my voice growing quieter. "He didn't show up that day, so I ended up getting married to Ethan." We got the certificate. I didn't dare look at my brother's face, afraid he'd be angry. When I finally looked up, I heard him sigh. His eyes were filled with tenderness as he asked, "Why were you so impulsive?" I tugged at his sleeve and pleaded, "Bro, I'm already married to Ethan, so please don't make things hard for him." "No," he said. "He is indeed better than Alex. The Jones family has always valued commitment above all else." We stayed in the study for a long time, until Ethan knocked on the door. My brother opened it and saw Ethan looking at me with concern. Seeing my red eyes, his expression changed slightly as he pulled me behind him and faced my brother with the utmost seriousness. "Brother Liam, it was me who asked Sarah to register our marriage with me. It's all my fault. Don't blame her." My brother raised an eyebrow. "Ethan, with Sarah there can be no one else, and you mustn't commit a man's most fatal mistake." Hearing this, Ethan's face brightened. "You agree?" "Do I have a choice? You've already gotten the marriage certificate." Olivia, who had been standing outside, looked shocked. My brother walked past us and stood in front of her. For the first time, his voice sounded low and icy. "Olivia, she's my only sister. No one is allowed to bully her, not even Alex." Olivia froze, caught off guard by my brother's cold words. She asked in a trembling voice, "Liam, what do you mean by that? Did Alex bully Sarah?" My brother likes Olivia, it's common knowledge. He couldn't bring himself to lash out at her, so instead, he punched the wall, and blood immediately streamed from his hand. "Brother!" I gasped. Olivia also shouted in alarm. My brother's face darkened, his voice carrying a hint of coldness. He can argue with Sarah, have small fights, and I wouldn't say anything. But keeping another woman on the side, betraying Sarah? Olivia, you know what I despise the most. I knew what my brother meant. Back then, after my father had me, he kept another woman. My mother couldn't bear it and had a huge fight with my father, who accidentally killed her in the heat of the moment. Later, my brother sent my father to prison, which is why he has always been so protective of me. Olivia's body stiffened as she murmured, "Sarah, is everything your brother said true?" I couldn't bear to tell her. Olivia has always been so kind to me. "Tell me, is it?" Olivia growled. Ethan said gravely, on the day they were supposed to get their marriage certificate, he abandoned Sarah to accompany his first love, Chloe, leaving Sarah waiting alone outside the civil affairs office for over 2 hours. She called him 10 times, and in the end, Chloe was the one who answered. "Sarah, is that you?" I whispered, my voice thick with unshed tears. "I'm sorry, I can't accept him being with another woman while still planning to marry me." Olivia smiled bitterly. "How could this be your fault? Clearly, it's Alex who isn't worthy of you. I have something to attend to. I should go now." With that, she picked up her coat and prepared to leave. "Olivia!" my brother called out in a low voice. She paused in her steps. "Liam, let me calm down for a moment." After that day, I didn't see much of Olivia because I resigned from her company. My brother never mentioned a word about what happened between them. The next day, Ethan took me to his private villa. Looking at the room's decor, I was pleasantly surprised. The entire style was arranged according to my preferences, and everything in the bedroom was exactly what I loved. With Alex, it was always me accommodating him. He never took the time to understand my preferences so thoughtfully. It's true what they say, whether someone truly loves you or not can be seen in the details. Do you like it? Ethan's deep voice sent a flutter through my heart. I like you, I whispered, my heart pounding like a drum. Sarah, thank you for coming into my world, he said, his voice so tender it seemed to drip with warmth. A shiver went through me. I lifted my gaze to meet his, seeing only my reflection in his eyes, like the brightest stars in the night sky. Those deep, warm eyes seemed to see through all my thoughts, embracing every trace of my fragility and unease. Before I could say a word, he lowered his head and kissed me. His lips were soft yet fervent, carrying an irresistible force that drowned all my words in this passionate kiss. I closed my eyes, lost in the moment, feeling the love and warmth he conveyed, as if the entire world had faded away, leaving only the two of us. His kiss was lingering and tender, like a gentle rain nourishing my parched heart. After what felt like an eternity, he slowly pulled away, resting his forehead against mine, his breath slightly hurried. Sarah, you are mine and only mine. His voice carried a hint of dominance, but more so it was filled with deep affection and commitment. I nodded gently. Ethan Jones, thank you for letting me barge into your world. He smiled softly, his smile like the spring sunlight, warm and radiant. He took my hand and placed it on his chest, where his heart was pounding fiercely. Can you feel it? This heart beats only for you. He scooped me up by the waist and gently laid me on the bed, his gaze burning with intensity as he whispered hoarsely, Sarah, my wife, let's make up for our wedding night. My cheeks flushed instantly with shyness. Over the past month, I had truly come to realize how genuinely Ethan cared for me. He knew all my favorite foods, hobbies, preferences, and pet peeves like the back of his hand. I suddenly understood my brother's words. The Jones family has always valued unwavering commitment. I looked up at him and nodded gently. Honey, be gentle. Ethan's eyes suddenly lit up with immense joy. Sarah, that night, he was relentless, and it wasn't until very late that I could finally rest. I vaguely remember him saying excitedly, Sarah, you actually... What? I was so sleepy I didn't want to open my eyes. Never mind, go back to sleep. After saying that, he bathed me, wiped me dry, and changed me into pajamas. It wasn't until the next day that I realized it was the bright red stain on the bedsheet that had made him so excited. 2 months later, I found myself with more free time than I'd had in years, which I spent painting at home. Ethan seemed to be very busy at the company these days, coming home late every night. Yet, no matter how late it was, he always brought back a bouquet of flowers for me, a different kind each day. It was already 7:00 tonight, and he still hadn't come back. I was starting to worry, and was about to call him when I saw his text. Honey, I sent the driver to pick you up. Change into the clothes he gave you. I love seeing you wear them. Puzzled, I replied. Is there something going on? Be a good girl and listen. Change into them and let the driver bring you. I'm waiting for you at YX restaurant. Madam, the master asked me to give this to you and take you somewhere. The driver had already arrived, handing me a large square box. I frowned, but still went upstairs to change. The moment I opened the box, my body trembled. It was a wedding dress. Overwhelmed with emotion, I didn't know what to say. With trembling hands, I sent him a message. Why? Do you like it? You're my wife. Whatever others have, my wife must have too. Whatever others don't have, my wife will have even more. Seeing his message, I crouched on the ground and cried. How could he be so good to me? How could he care about me so much? It took me a very long time to finally put on the wedding dress, do my makeup, and walk down the stairs. After getting into the car, I looked at the scenery outside the window and felt incredibly lucky. Arriving at YX restaurant, I got out of the car, and the driver left. The restaurant was pitch dark. I couldn't see anything. I called Ethan. Ethan, where are you? Sweetheart, come in, walk in slowly. I slowly entered the dining room. The moment I stepped inside, all the lights in the restaurant suddenly turned on. I gasped, Oh my God! The entire first floor was filled with heart-shaped balloons, streamers, and a banner that made me cover my mouth in shock. The dazzling words on the banner moved me to tears. Sarah, I love you. Will you marry me? My heart felt as if it were surrounded by countless butterflies. overflowing with happiness. I stood rooted to the spot, my gaze locked on that heartfelt proposal. At that very moment, a soft piano melody began to play. Following the sound, I saw Ethan descending slowly from the second floor, dressed in a pristine white suit. His gaze was as tender as water, and his eyes held only me. My heart raced. I watched him approach, step by step, tears blurring my vision once more. Finally, Ethan stood before me. He slowly knelt on one knee, pulling out a dazzling ring from his pocket. The diamond sparkled brilliantly under the light. "Sarah, I love you," he said softly, his voice sincere. "Will you marry me?" I looked at him, an indescribable sense of happiness welling up inside me. I nodded slightly, my voice choked with emotion. "I do." The room immediately erupted into enthusiastic applause. "Ethan, kiss your bride now!" someone cheered. "Hurry up, kiss your wife!" It turned out these were all of Ethan's good friends. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught sight of my brother standing right in front of me, watching with eyes full of contentment. I only found out later that after Olivia left that day, my brother personally went to find Alex, beat him up, and warned him not to take another step near me or disturb my life again. So from then on, I never saw Alex again. I heard he and Chloe had a falling out and he went abroad by himself. None of that was my concern anymore. My world now was Ethan. As for my brother, he and Olivia didn't separate because of Alex. After all, they had loved each other for so many years. Amid everyone's teasing, I smiled, tilted my head up, and kissed Ethan's lips. He was surprised. It was the first time I had taken the initiative. After a long moment, we parted, and I leaned close to his ear, whispering softly, "Husband, thank you. Thank you for loving me so much. In the future, I will love you well too." Ethan buried his head in the crook of my neck, murmuring softly, "Sarah, everything was worth it. I got what I wished for." A year later, I gave birth to our daughter, Lily. It was also around this time that I learned why X restaurant was opened by Ethan for me. That day, Ethan carried Lily while I held our things as we came to the hospital to see Olivia, who had just given birth to a son for my brother. In the hallway, we ran into Alex. He seemed even colder than before. When he saw me, his expression changed slightly, and he said in a low, hoarse voice, "Sarah, long time no see." With time, I had let go of the past. I greeted him with a faint smile. "Alex, long time no see." Since then, I've never seen Alex again. Ethan loved me as always, just like the saying goes, the Jones family values commitment till the end.